Sometimes the person you lie beside every night is the one hiding the deadliest secrets. This is a real-life inspired story about betrayal, obsession, and the moment a man's world collapsed. Not with a scream, but with a silence that changed everything. Viewer discretion is advised. Marcus Wells was the kind of man you'd assume had it all together. At 39, he ran his own cybersecurity firm from their cozy Connecticut home, always the one to fix problems, digital or emotional. He had calm eyes, the kind that made you feel safe. And he loved deeply. Sometimes too deeply. But even the most secure systems have blind spots. And Marcus, he had one name for his, Renee. She was beautiful in an effortless way. Not loud, not flashy, just a magnetic. At 34, Renee Wells was the image of soft perfection. A pediatric nurse, well-spoken, and with that sort of whispery charm that made you feel you were the only person in the room. They had been married for 9 years. No kids, but plenty of dreams. Or so Marcus thought. It was the lipstick that first raised the hair on the back of his neck. Not the color itself, but that it existed at all. Renee hadn't worn makeup in months. Not even to date nights. Yet here it was, a wine-red smudge tucked in a napkin in the trash can, wrapped around a receipt from a bar in Midtown. Marcus paused. He wasn't the jealous type. Least, he never used to be. But the little things began stacking like bricks around his chest. Her phone was always face down. She took calls in the laundry room. And she changed her passwords. This was the woman who didn't know how to set up her voicemail. You see, Marcus wasn't just any husband. He was an expert in tracing digital footprints. He installed a keylogger on the home computer. Just for peace of mind, he told himself. But what he found was anything but peaceful. Emails, deleted messages, a name. Alec Green, mid-40s, divorced, financial consultant. She had met him during a hospital fundraiser, a night Marcus couldn't attend due to a client emergency. From the emails, Marcus learned more than he wanted to. That they'd gone out. That she had called him her escape. That she said she felt alive when she was with him. And worst of all, "I wish I had met you first," she had written. Marcus sat on the couch one evening, Renee folding towels 2 feet away, humming some old tune she used to sing while they cooked. He looked at her hands, her ring, her smile. She had no idea he knew that he was watching her live 2 lives. He could have confronted her, yelled, demanded answers. But Marcus wasn't impulsive. He was deliberate. So he planned. Not out of revenge, he told himself, but out of self-respect, out of pain, out of survival. He began monitoring her car's GPS. Every Tuesday and Thursday, she was supposedly working overtime. The reality, she was parked for hours outside a high-rise in New Haven. Alec's residence. Marcus drove there once, parked 2 blocks away, and watched. He saw her enter with a bag and leave 4 hours later. Her hair slightly damp, face flushed. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tight. His knuckles turned bone white. Still he said nothing. Not yet. Marcus didn't want rumors. He wanted proof. He hired a private investigator. Photos, video, hotel receipts, even audio of her laughing, calling Alec baby, saying things she once reserved only for Marcus. The PI handed him a folder. "I've seen worse," he said. "But this one hurts." Marcus didn't open the folder for a week. When he finally did, he cried for the first time in 7 years. Quietly, into the same pillow she kissed every morning. Then everything changed the night Marcus returned home early from a conference. The house was too quiet. The lights dimmed. He heard whispers upstairs. Laughter. He climbed the steps silently, his phone recording in hand, heart racing. The bedroom door was open a sliver. Inside, not just Renee and Alec, but Renee holding a gun in her lap. Alec was pacing. "You said he suspects something. What if he finds out?" Renee's voice was sharp. "He won't. And if he does? Well, accidents happen, don't they? Before Marcus could even process it, Alec grabbed the gun to hide it, clumsily. Slip. Bang. Renee screamed. Marcus crashed through the door. Blood on the wall. Alec on the floor. Renee shaking. The gun still smoking. Marcus stood there, with everything captured on video. But what he didn't expect was who Alec really was. And the double life Renee had kept wasn't just about infidelity. It was something much, much deeper. "This isn't just about love, Marcus," Renee said, trembling. "It's about money and power. And if you expose me, you'll be the next one to disappear." The bullet grazed Alec's side. Not fatal, but enough to draw blood. Enough to shake the room into silence. Renee was crying now. Not from guilt, but from panic. Marcus, trembling, called 911. "There's been a shooting. My wife, there's been a, just send someone, please." Alec tried to stand, clutching his bleeding side. "You don't understand," he groaned. "She's not just cheating on you, man. He's setting you up. I was a part of it." Renee tried to silence Alec, but it was too late. Marcus forced them both into the living room while waiting for the ambulance and the police. He pulled up the video he recorded earlier and played it in front of them. Renee's voice on tape. "If he finds out, accidents happen, don't they?" Her face turned stone. No more crying. No more fake apologies. Just coldness. "You think the cops are going to believe you? You're the one who installed spy software. You stalked me. You broke into my privacy. I can spin this any way I want." But Alec coughed and added, "She offered me 20 grand to make it look like you attacked her. She said you'd been unstable since your mom died. She said she just needed someone to witness it." The police arrived and took statements. Marcus handed over the recording and the PI's folder. Alec was taken to the hospital under custody. Renee was calm, almost too calm. Marcus searched her belongings afterward, needing answers. That's when he found the USB, hidden in a hollowed-out hairspray can. Inside were spreadsheets, legal contracts, digital records, all pointing to one thing: fraud. Millions siphoned through Marcus's company, using dummy employee accounts, false vendor payouts, and forged tax forms. And guess whose signature was on most of it? Marcus's. Within 72 hours, Marcus was called in by the IRS and a federal fraud investigation unit. They had received an anonymous tip. "You've been moving money through accounts in the Cayman Islands," one agent said. Marcus's mouth went dry. He never opened those accounts, but his credentials, his digital certificates, were all used by someone who knew everything about him. Someone like Renee. From love to lies to laundering. She hadn't just cheated on him. She had used him. Used his trust, his company, his systems. But why? Alec's confession from the hospital shed more light. It wasn't just her. She's working with someone bigger. Your firm's just one of the places they launder money. I thought I was just the affair. But she told me things about blackmail, offshore deals, even a murder cover-up. She's not scared of you. She's scared of who's behind her. Marcus's entire life began to spiral. He'd gone from victim to suspect. And the police. They started looking at Marcus harder than they looked at Renee. Desperate to clear his name, Marcus remembered something odd. The guest room. Renee had locked it for weeks, claiming she was storing medical supplies. But when he broke the lock that night, what he found shook him to his bones. Inside was a burner phone, multiple SIM cards, disguised passports, a locked suitcase filled with envelopes of cash, and something else. Photo of Marcus, crossed out in red marker. Behind the photo was a note. Target expires June 12th. Marcus stared at the note, heart hammering. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a hit. He wasn't just the cheated husband anymore. He was marked for death. And the person he had shared his bed with for nearly a decade. She wasn't done yet. "You should have let me go, Marcus," Renee's voice echoed in his mind. "But now you're in too deep. And no one's going to believe you when you disappear." After discovering the photo and the hit note, Marcus didn't call the police. He couldn't. They were already treating him like a suspect in the fraud case. So he did what no one expected. He went underground. He left his home, cut off his cards, used burner phones, and reached out to an old hacker friend from college, Jonah. Jonah worked in cyber forensics and owed Marcus a favor. With Jonah's help, Marcus dug deeper into the files Renee had hidden. What they found was staggering. A trail of financial crimes across 6 companies, all connected to one shell corporation in Belize. And that shell linked back to someone with a diplomatic passport. Someone untouchable. Renee wasn't the mastermind. She was the middle link. The one with access to clean companies and naive husbands. Alec was a tool. But there were others. 3 other men in different states who were facing similar charges, unaware their wives were laundering money through their businesses. It was a network of Black Widow operatives. Marcus and Jonah gathered all the data, emails, account logs, IP trails. But they needed more. They needed proof of motive. Marcus staged a return. He contacted Renee from a burner account, pretending to be Alec's brother, claiming Alec had woken up and confessed everything. He took the bait. She arranged a meeting at a secluded cabin outside town. Jonah wired the place with hidden cameras and microphones. Marcus showed up wearing a wire and sunglasses. Renee arrived with a man in a suit. "Is this the guy who has the footage?" the man asked. Renee nodded. The man pulled out a silencer and aimed it at Marcus. "You were supposed to be dead already." Before the trigger could pull, federal agents swarmed in. Jonah had tipped off the FBI with the recordings, time-stamped digital evidence, and a live GPS trace. The sting worked. Renee was arrested. So was the hitman, who turned out to be a federal contractor gone rogue, smuggling funds through diplomatic immunity. The FBI cleared Marcus of all charges. Renee was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, financial fraud, and obstruction of justice. Alec testified in exchange for a lighter sentence. And Marcus, he sold the company, started a non-profit that helps victims of tech-related financial abuse. He now speaks at conferences on cybersecurity and emotional trauma. Sometimes justice comes not in the courtroom, but in the courage it takes to rise again. Marcus Wells didn't just survive betrayal. He turned it into purpose. But for every Marcus out there, there's someone still being watched, still being used, still waiting for truth to surface. Like, share, subscribe. If this story left you speechless, just know, more untold truths are coming, and sometimes, they're even closer to home. Until next time, stay safe, and trust wisely.